Hello, have you ever wanted to play a game with a friend, but they were remote, and you wanted the two of you to, commentate on a single-player game? I know that's a little bit weird of a use case, but that's the thing that I ran into. And I wanted to be able to basically video call, but my friend needed to be able to hear the game. This is a tutorial for how to do exactly that. Voicemeeter Banana is the main program that you're going to need, in addition to its virtual audio cables. This setup only works for Windows. So the first thing is these virtual audio cables. Yes, it says that there's a Mac version, but Voicemeeter Banana only has a Windows version, so it doesn't do you any good. You can only do this on Windows. So download the zip of these virtual audio cables and download Banana, which will be either the installer or the zip, either way. I'm going to have links for these two websites in the description. The only difference between Banana and Potato, by the way, is that Potato is the paid version. It's got more features. We don't need those features. Free version's fine. So once you have both of those things downloaded, run the installer for the virtual audio cables is in this zip file that it downloads. It has a bunch of files, I know, but unzip it and then run the program called setup x64. Run that, it's an installer. Once that's done, you don't need any of these files anymore, so you can just delete the whole thing. And that will install these two virtual inputs in your system, which Banana needs. And then after that, run the Banana installer as administrator, obviously. Once you get these two programs installed, Banana tells you that you're going to need to restart your computer. You are actually going to need to restart your computer. This won't work if you don't do that. And then once you have that installed, you'll see this. There's a lot of settings here, I know. You don't need the majority of them, don't worry about it. The first three columns are the hardware inputs 1, 2, 3. That's effectively H1, H2, H3. The two virtual inputs are B1 and B2. And then the three outputs are A1, 2, and 3. You'll need to have your mic set up as one of the hardware inputs. So left-click on the hardware input and select whichever one is your microphone. It'll be listed multiple times, potentially. These are different drivers for the same device. I don't know what the difference is between them for the inputs, so just go with the first one, I guess. The WDM version, and then do the same thing for the second hardware input for line in. Line in is, in this case, how I'm running my console into my desktop. This is not going to work with USB. You're going to need line in. I might have a separate video for hardware setup, so I'm running everything to line in, and then you can right-click to rename these to mic and line in to make it more convenient for you. So that's H1 and H2 setup. The next thing you're going to need is headphones. You are going to need headphones because you need to make sure that your desktop speakers are not going into your microphone. In this case, I have Bluetooth headphones, and I have that set up as A1. Left click on A1 to pull up the list like before. This one, the driver actually does matter a little bit. The KS version, half the time when I select it, it just fails. I don't know why. The WDM version and the KS version, when it decides to behave, both of those work for recording, but you can't listen to anything else, which isn't really a big deal, but it just, things are smoother if you do MME. So now you have your headphones set up to A1, and what you're going to need to do is connect the virtual cables. So your microphone, have that go to B1, which is your first virtual input, and then have your line in also go to B1, and you're going to want line in to go to A1 so that you'll be able to hear the game in addition to your friend being able to hear the game. You don't need to mess with the control panel settings for these. Then go to Discord. I'm not going to have a tutorial on how to set up a Discord server. There are videos for that. Look them up. Once you have a Discord server set up, join a voice channel with you and your friend. You're also going to need to change your settings, your voice and video. Change your input device to be VAIO, which is, it's B1. This way, Discord considers your microphone to be that virtual input, which is labeled output. It's a little confusing, don't worry about it. So Discord is going to pick up both your normal mic and your line in and consider both of those to be your microphone for talking in the voice channel, which is exactly what we want. I want both of those two audios to be sent to our Discord buddy. But there's a couple more settings you're going to need to change. The output device is fine. You'll leave that as your headphones. The second thing you're going to need to change is this automatically determine input sensitivity. You're going to need to uncheck that and then drag this bar all the way to the left. What this setting is for ignoring soft sounds. So by default, when it's on, it will kind of automatically figure out what is considered a soft sound and not. And when it's here, then it will just be like, okay, this is the threshold for what's considered a soft sound. However, we don't want it to filter out soft sounds. It would make sense to filter out soft sounds for a normal voice chat to say, yeah, we're ignoring like some background noise. But in this case, we want our Discord buddy to be able to hear the whole game, even if it makes soft sounds, which is why we need to change this all the way to the left to say any sound, send it. The second thing you're going to need to change is this noise suppression filter here. By default, it only picks up voices, because that's what's assuming you want to send, which makes sense. But in our case, we want to disable this so that it sends things that it doesn't think are voices. We want it to send all of the audio from the game. So change this from crisp to none. All of the other settings in here, you can leave as they are. None of them should matter. Then join your Discord server and share your screen, or more specifically, share a specific application. In my case, I'm sharing my screen with OBS. So I have OBS picking up the video for the game, and then by sharing the application OBS over Discord, my buddy can only see what the actual video is, none of those other settings. So now they should be able to hear and see the game without any delay, and you can also hear both your buddy and the game. Great. Another couple of settings that you might be interested in OBS-wise. Normally, I have the videos I record are set up like this in order to record the game's line-in and my microphone, and I have those set up on separate audio channels, which is great. In this case, though, the desktop audio will have both your buddy's voice and the game. So in order to avoid a slight echo, you're going to want to not record line-in and just do the mic and desktop audio. This does mean that you won't be able to separate the audio channels for your Discord buddy's voice and the game. That's fine, frankly. I tried to think of a way that I could separate those into two different audio channels, and it's not worth doing because it's an extra few steps that are kind of annoying. I'm going to put it in the description if you really want to do it. I wouldn't worry about it. An additional side benefit of having everything set up like this is that because I'm using Bluetooth headphones, I have them linked to both my desktop and my phone at the same time, and I have my phone sending Spotify music so that I can listen to music without my Discord buddy, or more importantly, my desktop being able to hear it. So that way I can listen to whatever music I like without it being in the YouTube video, since I don't have permission to use this song. In fact, I'm listening to a secret song right now, and yeah, it's actually not that complicated to set up Voice Meter Banana. It's just, it looks complicated, and it's a program you've probably never heard of. And there was a couple of gotchas with Discord settings. Hopefully this was helpful to anyone who wanted to do something like I did, where you record a video, or just, even if you're not recording, if you're just sharing the screen and game, that's fine too. But hopefully this helps somebody. Alright, bye.